Hello, I'm Malaz, and thanks for tuning in to Unmute. This season is dedicated to Limkokwing leaks. You'll be listening to the stories and interviews of former staff members of Limkokwing University. However, some of their names have been changed to protect their privacy. Today's guest is Bruce, a former staffer and Limkokwing alumni. Bruce was allegedly framed and arrested on campus by plainclothes police officers. He graciously agreed to share his truth with us. Bruce, thank you so much for speaking to me. I know this would probably bring up some old memories and trauma that you might not want to revisit at this moment. And so with that, I just want to say that I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you very much. I also appreciate you having me on this show.
So very quickly, I just want people to know the nature of your relationship with Limkokwing University and the senior staff members of SMT. How long were you a student there?
I was a student at Limkokwing from 2009 to about 2011. Yeah, so that's roughly about 3 years.
3 years, okay. And how was your experience as a student back then?
My experience at Limkokwing University was actually quite nice. There were a lot of great moments, a lot of great memories, participated in a lot of events. I was very active. You know, I made a lot of friends. I met my wife there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I met you. I met so many great people there, and there were a lot of great memories there, and I don't regret any of it.
Mm-hmm. And how long did you, obviously you graduated, and you started working after graduation. So how long did you work full-time as a full-time employee?
I worked there full time from 2011 until 2014. Wait, 2012 until 2014. My apologies.
Okay. 2 years. So you graduated in 2011 and you started
Yes.
working for them in 2012 and then you left 2014.
Yes. Yes.
And when did you realize that Limkokwing was running a shady operation?
It was when a colleague of mine from my department went to congratulate Tiffany Marie Limkokwing on her award that she had won it was a fashion award, and I think it was from Italy specifically. Yeah, it was definitely from Italy, if my memory serves me correctly. And we went there looking for her to congratulate her, and we only found one of her staff members who were there. It was only one, and we asked her, "Where's Dr. Tiffany?" And she said, "She's not here at the moment." I was like, "Oh, okay." We wanted to congratulate her for winning that award from Italy, and she was like, "She didn't win that award. She bought the award."
Mm-hmm.
We were a bit flabbergasted at first. We thought she was joking. We're like, "Get out of here. Come on. Why would they buy these? Why would she buy that award?" It's like, "I have the receipts. Do you want to see?" I'm like, "Okay." And we were shocked at what we saw. There was actually a receipt there.
So this was a bill.
Yeah, it was like a bill. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, it was a bill.
Yeah, I remember when I was there was a lot of rumors because we always won so many awards all the time.
Right.
Every time they would go to an award show, whether it be in Malaysia or in the States or in the UK, they would always come home with so many awards. And there were these rumors that they were buying them, but I actually never saw proof. But you got to see that proof.
Yes, I got to see that proof firsthand.
Do you remember how much it cost? That award cost?
I don't remember how much that award allegedly cost, unfortunately. I don't.
Okay.
I think it was definitely in the triple digits. Digits, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so in the thousands.
I can't say. Yeah, in the thousands. I can't say.
Okay, all right. All right, no stress. And have you ever had any experiences of being discriminated against?
Yes. When I started working in the office space, I would have friends, colleagues, well, specifically one colleague who used to call me the N-word from time to time. He did it in a jokingly manner, but it was still the N-word.
Yeah.
And it was still hurtful in many ways, but he would apologize afterwards. But then he would come back and still say it, which was very odd to me. So I understood to some degree, I think he was a bit ignorant
And this
at it.
person definitely
So I
was not
brushed it
black.
off. No, he was not black. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that was just the only experience where you felt that, there was institutional racism at Limkokwing University.
It was one of the first ones. There's actually more. Another time I felt the institutional racism was usually the university always had delegations. Well, I wouldn't say delegations. Every year they had different students from different countries coming to the university. This was in 2013. I remember students from Namibia had a government deal, I think, and a scholarship deal for a lot of the students. I think there were about 100 to 200. I don't really remember the exact number.
Okay, that's a lot.
And they came to the university, and they were given a tour around the university, but they never came to our department. Never saw them once. But when that happened, I remember a European delegation came. They were smaller in numbers, yes, but they gave them a full executive tour around the university. I remember them coming to our department, me having full conversations with them. I remember them having conversations. One of the ambassadors that was showing them around, the student ambassador showing them around, saying, hey, we're going to go to the clubs later. We'd love to take you guys there. We're going to treat you. So they were like, no, don't even worry about it. We're taking care of it. The university's taking care of it. And I was so disgusted by it. I was like, why couldn't they do the same thing for these Namibian students? It may not have to be at that same caliber, but they could have done something for them than just show them around at certain parts of the university and then just leave them like that. And that really, really made me angry. And I already knew that there was a problem from that specifically.
I think I remember the time that you're talking about. I remember when I was when I was in the ambassador program, and we were given an envelope of cash, and we were told to take the French exchange students out, whether it be dinner, clubbing, or both. Just make sure that you take them out, and they have a good time. And I think that was just for marketing purposes, so they can go back to Europe and get more European students. Regardless, it is racist because you're not doing it for the same exchange students or the visitors from African countries or other Asian countries. It's only European students that are privy to this type of executive treatment.
That is correct, because there were times where a Japanese delegation will come, Korean delegation, and I'll be assigned to these students, and not once did I ever see them ever get the same kind of treatment that European students were getting. Not once. Not one.
I also remember when the Danish students came, and we had a multiple French student exchange program. So it was many groups throughout the course of like 2 years, I think. They were coming, and the groups were getting bigger and bigger. And these French students and these Danish students and other European students would get the best treatment, and they would always be in the photo shoots and in the campaign, the new campaign brochures, or on the new billboard. And other students from other countries never ever got the same treatment or the same privileges.
Yes, other students from other countries never got the same treatment at all. I never saw them in the student brochures, never saw them in the photos. Never, not once. It was, and these are the smallest things that I used to see. Even just fashion show photo shoots. Black faces were very rare to see. Black faces were extremely rare to see.
I know.
Which was crazy because there's so many black students on the campus.
It's really unfair. It really is. But I want to get into your story. Your story is quite a scary one, but it's not unique. Unfortunately, not unique in regards to Limkokwing and African students and staff. So you were allegedly set up by the police at the instruction of Limkokwing and members of SMT. Could you please tell us what it was that led to you being arrested on campus by plainclothes police officers?
What led to that was a memo that I had post-signed on behalf of my boss. Now, what happened was I already had, my boss talking referring to Tiffany Marie Lim.
Mm-hmm.
She had pre-signed a memo that would exempt us from paying a certain fee regarding visa renewal. And they did this for all staff who were working at the university. She signed that memo with countless witnesses on the same day. I had another colleague of mine who was with me who also had to sign on that same day, and this was in February. She signed that in February, and my visa would have to start being processed around June.
Okay.
So I thought, you know what, let me do it early, and I'll get it processed in June.
Mm-hmm.
June comes, and I realize that it's probably a little too far off. And usually in the visa office, sometimes they want things that are very recent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I re-updated the same memo and I signed on behalf of my boss. That was the mistake I made on my own. I own up to that. That was my mistake. Now, let's get this correct. This was a memo that exempts you from paying a certain fee of about 800 ringgit.
Okay, so you as a staff member was getting the visa renewed by the university, so you would not have to pay for your visa.
Yes, that is correct. And in the event of that happening, word had spread that I wanted to leave the university at the end of the year. Now,
yes, I remember you were saying that they wanted to give you a scholarship to do your master's, but you had declined it because you didn't want to be tied to the university for 5 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was planning to leave. I had already applied for it. I'd already gotten the visa for it because I wanted to study again. But then I made that decision that you know what, after I renew this, I'm leaving at the end of the year. And what happened was Tansri and the SMT, the senior management team, called me to their office.
This
Tiffany
is a month
was the one
after.
Actually, yes, this is now sometime in July, early July.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiffany is the one who made the personal call. She called me and she told me to come to the office. And I said, okay. I went to the office. Dr. Fajura, Dr. Gail, Dr. Danya, and Tansri were all in there. I was sitting down and they asked me, we want to know what your plans are. And I said, I'm thinking about going home at the end of the year to pursue my career somewhere else, to further my career in what I'm doing. And Dr. Gail throws out the contract and she says, but you're bound for 5 years. But if you want to leave, you have to pay a sum of 50,000 ringgit, which is crazy. Now, what was interesting about this contract was there was never a contract like this the year before and the year before that. These contracts were always renewed on a yearly basis. Every year you had to renew that contract.
Mm-hmm.
So my second biggest mistake was not reading that contract and just assuming it was the same contract. I signed it very, casual. Oh, it's the same thing. Sign it. Let's move on. So after they told me that, I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to rethink my strategy and move on. And and that was that. And I walked out. And I remember Tansri saying, yeah, you do that. So in my head, I thought, okay, I'm stuck here for another 5 years. I was really devastated.
But by the time that they had called you into that meeting to tell you that you had signed this contract and that you were bonded to them for 5 years, had your visa already been renewed by then?
No, it had not. It had not been renewed. It was in processing. My visa was in processing.
So online you checked that it was actually in process?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so they had probably green-lighted your passport and sent it to EMGS or immigration, and they were processing your visa.
Yes, they were processing my visa. And they even asked me that question as well. And have you submitted your visa? Have you submitted your passport for visa renewal? And I said yes, while I was in that meeting room.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And mind you, when I did this, I was not in the right frame of mind. I was very stressed out.
Yeah.
I was impatient, and I just wanted to get it out of the way immediately. So that's on me. Okay. So anyway, moving forward, on July 16th, the police I get a phone call, actually. I get a phone call to go down to human resources. They wanted to see me at 4 o'clock. So I said, okay, I will go down. As I walk down to this place, I see two men dressed in normal clothes sitting. And I was like, I've never seen these men before, but oh well, whatever. I walk in, and the secret policeman, I remember him looking at me, breathing very deeply. I was trying to figure out what is going on. And then the two men that I saw outside walk in. And the first thing they tell me is, don't make a scene. Come with us quietly. Right then and there, I had an idea of what was happening. I didn't understand at first, but I had an idea of what was happening. The first thing they said is, where are your things? I said, my things are upstairs. They're in the office. So we went to the office. I grabbed my things, and I walk with these people, and they take me to their car. Their car is not a police car. It's just an ordinary looking car. It's white. And while I'm in there, they're saying you can text whoever you need to text, but do not call Dr. Tiffany Marie Limkokwing. And I was trying to figure out why. Why would they strictly mention that name in this situation? Why? So I started texting my colleagues, letting them know what's happening. I texted my wife, let her know what was happening. Told her to get me a lawyer as soon as possible. And then I tried calling Dr. Tiffany Marie Limkokwing. And me being an idiot, the cops asked, who are you calling? I said, I'm calling Dr. Tiffany Marie Limkokwing. And they took my phone, and I never saw it again on that day.
Oh, goodness.
They took my phone. That's when I knew, oh, this is getting real. While I'm sitting in there, they're saying, why did you call Dr. Tiffany? They were getting very angry. I just didn't understand why they wouldn't let me call her. In the process of that happening, a female police officer comes down as well, in normal clothing.
Into the car? Was the car moving, or was it parked?
The car was not moving. We had not left. And she comes in and she's like, Bruce, why did you do this? It was only 800 ringgit. And I was trying to figure out, what are you talking about? And the cop started saying, did you steal money? You stole money, right? You stole money, right? Trying to get a confession out of me, a false confession. I said, I didn't steal any money. I never stole any money. I don't know what you're talking about. I did not steal any money. They kept trying to coerce me into that narrative. You stole money, right? Come on, just say it. You stole the money. I didn't steal any money. I kept telling them I didn't steal any money. And then the car started moving. They were a bit quiet for a bit, and then they started talking to me. And they asked me, did you sign this? Is this your signature? Did you sign this? And I said, I definitely did that. That I did, but I didn't steal any money. I said, but it says 800 ringgit here. And I said, excuse me, this is a memo that exempts you from paying 800 ringgit. At this point now, they had handcuffed me. And in the process of all this happening, one of the police officers started poking my head. And one of the things he told me was, if you want this to end quickly, it's better for you to plead guilty. Because if you don't, the judges are going to make this very difficult for you.
Wow, okay. So this was in the car on campus. Yes. It hasn't moved yet. And they're already telling you to plead guilty. They're just telling you that this is what you should say, or else you're going to be in a worse position.
Yes, that's correct. And at this point, I'm terrified because I don't know what's going on. You know, like what is it? What is going on? Why are they doing this? And what is their agenda? What is the motive behind all of this? Because this is a memo. This is a memo. How is it getting this far? I was in a lot of disarray and confusion. I remember they put me in the remand prison there.
Mm-hmm. Where was it?
I remember Sanang, on the way to the airport.
Okay. I know that place. I know exactly the place that you're talking about. Go on.
And what happened was, while I was there, they didn't speak to me after that. I just changed my clothes. They put me in a cell. And at that time, I was isolated. I was on my own at that time. And I just started crying like crazy. I started crying because I didn't know what was going on.
Of course.
I didn't know why it was happening. I didn't know why this was happening to me. I couldn't eat. Sleeping was very difficult. And when you're in there, you can easily lose your mind under high stress, which I was in. And I was really trying to keep it together. I would talk to God, whatever it took just to keep my mind together. And they wouldn't let my staff members come and see me. I only found this out after I was out.
So your friends, your colleagues and your friends.
My friends, my colleagues, exactly. They blocked people from seeing me. And when my wife came through to see me, what was crazy was that, these cops allegedly were asking for bribes from her just to see me. Just by God's grace, she got me a good lawyer, and I got a chance to speak to my mom. And one of the police officers even told us that there is no case here. This is a internal dispute. No money was taken out of the university, so there is no course of legal action to prosecute me. But Tansri Limkokwing allegedly wants this. So we go through the whole process, and I end up getting locked up for 5 days. Now, my lawyer managed to reduce that sentence from 3 years. I was facing up to 3 years, but I only got 5 days.
How? Who calls it? Who calls the shots, and who says he must go to prison? I want him to go to prison for 3 years. Is it Limkokwing himself that gave that instruction, or?
I think the 3 years is probably part of their judicial system for the crime I was being accused of. Mm-hmm. But who made the call? I don't know.
Yeah, but then you didn't commit that crime, right? You signed on behalf of someone, and even forgery. Yes. If there's no money involved, yeah, I don't know how long a sentence would be, but I really don't think that it would be 3 years. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not familiar with Malaysian law. So if anyone can tell us if what happened here was just, do let us know.
Yeah, I wouldn't really know as well about the whole justice system in Malaysia.
So how long did you spend in there altogether? Because you said he lessened it from 3 years to 5 days because of your lawyer. Yes, and the lawyer that your wife was able to get.
I was in Kajang for about a few days throughout the weekend because of Ramadan, and they don't let prisoners out during that time. And from that point, after I was released from Kajang, I went straight to the deportation camps. And I was there for at least 2 weeks. So you're there for 2 weeks before you can be legally deported from the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whole process. So
you got deported?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
It's a very scary process for anyone. I wish no one would ever have to go through that. Any foreigner would ever have to go through a situation like that.
I mean, anyone really, anyone. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Only if you are comfortable with speaking about it. I know this because I'm your friend, and we've spoken about this. But can we talk about the toll it took on your mental health and the after effects of your experience? Only if you're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable. People need to know. I suffered from PTSD for a long time, for a very long time. I would wake up in the middle of the night, nightmares, thinking I was back in a Malaysian prison or the deportation camp. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't make logical decisions. I would cry myself to sleep at times, and I was always sick, and it was just really difficult. I never thought they had it in their bone to do that to their own staff.
I don't think anybody really did. It was an open secret that if you tried to resign, you'd be arrested or set up.
Yes, and I was told this by a colleague from a different department telling me, listen, Bruce, if you want to leave, it's best you leave quietly and tell no one. Just go, never come back. But if they find out that you want to leave, they will make life very difficult for you. But I just assumed, well, it can't be that bad. It seems a little far-fetched because I'd never seen it. And they did this to me, so they could do this to anyone.
You know what is interesting, let me say, just lack of better words, is that a lot of my friends and colleagues never resigned. They just ran away. A lot of them.
Yes.
And what's crazy is that every single person that has resigned and done it the right way has really suffered. Anyone that I know, unless they're local, unless they were Malaysian, any foreigner that I knew really had issues with leaving that company if they did it the right way. So most people opted to run away, to just not say a word, and then next thing you know is they're out of the country. And they always label them as thieves, that they ran away with money. They ran away with money. That's like their go-to accusation. You know what's crazy is that a lot of people have messaged me that similar stories. They do something or they say something to Limkokwing, or they resign, and all of a sudden police are at their door. All of a sudden they're at the police station, and the police themselves tell them,
That is correct.
yeah, Limkokwing told us. They're just over it. I think it's just overdone for them, allegedly, of course.
Yes, what I can tell you is when I was in that police car, is the police told me the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. And have they tried to contact you since? I mean, you were deported towards the end of August, correct? What was the date again? 27th? August 27th, was it?
Yes, it was August 27th.
Have they contacted you since?
Yeah, Tiffany Marie Limkokwing did contact me once I was back home. She contacted me and she wanted to see how I was doing, which was very weird. But we did have a little chat. What I did tell her was, I forgive you, but I did not like how the whole process went down. And I think she never really apologized.
Yeah.
All she said was, I wish I had talked to you more because I knew you were stressed out. I wished I had contacted you, talked to you more. She never said she was sorry. All she said was, yeah, the past is the past. Let's move on and so on. I don't exactly remember the exact words, but she did contact me, and I thought she was going to apologize, and she never did. She never did, which was heartbreaking to me. And I remember my mother telling me that she tried calling her multiple times and she never picked up. The only person who did pick up was her father, and he allegedly said that he was going to release me on the same day I was arrested, but he never did. And my mother begged him. My mother does not beg anyone for anything, but she begged him. And for him to lie to her was very disappointing to me, because I looked up to him. I did. I actually did look up to him. But after that happened, I realized that these people are not your friends. No matter how nice they are to you, they are not your friends. They can easily flip the switch on you when they decide. And that is exactly what happened to me and allegedly many others.
Yeah. I believe you.
Thank you.
I definitely believe you. I know.
Before we go, for the record, to those who may be interacting with these people, just to let you know that these are the kind of people you're dealing with. And you should be very careful and know when it's time to run. And I hope they do change their ways for the better, because a lot of people, myself included, graduated from there. I loved that university. I still do. I have great memories.
Me too. Me too.
I met my wife there. I made so many friends. I had so many great experiences with you and many others, Malaz.
Yeah.
And I don't want that memory tarnished because of things of the past. We need to move forward from that. As you say, Tansri Limkokwing, do better. Isn't that what you always say? This is your legacy. We all bought into it. And don't let your legacy be be one of racism, of alleged racism, alleged sexism, and all these other things that you're allegedly being accused of. Don't let that be the end of your legacy. Don't. God bless.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Bruce, thank you so much. Just know that you sharing your story with us helps us in our fight. I don't want people to lose sight of what we're asking for. We are asking for equality. We're asking for Limkokwing and all members of SMT, Gail Fung, Mr. Lum, Danya, Poe, and whoever else sits up in that office. We want you all gone because how you're running it is destroying it. So I just hope that everybody understands.
Yes, I agree. Do the right thing, resign, and let someone who is capable of leading what you have built to a better future. So do the right thing. I know there's some good in you. There has to be. It has to be.
You were very hopeful, Bruce. You were very hopeful. Anyways, my darling, thank you so much. And best of luck in everything you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Malaz. Thank you for letting me speak my truth. And to anyone listening, don't be afraid to speak out. I was afraid for many years, and every time his name popped up in my head, I would just start getting very stressed. My heart would start pumping. I would fall into depression, and I don't want that for you. Speaking your truth will definitely liberate you. And also just talking to someone. If you need someone to talk to, just talk to someone. Thank you.
According to Malaysia's Penal Code 465, under punishment for forgery, it states, "Whoever commits forgery shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with a fine, or with both." Please stay tuned for the coming episodes.